Okay. So
can
why
read
do
it.
they say Commanders?
Right.
Yeah.
So how many times did he hear Commanders?
No, he said he actually even saw the Chiron too.
I don't believe that part of it.
I need visual proof. I need to see it with my own two
French Open again. Alcaraz was down 2 sets to love and faced 3 match points before storming back for his second straight French Open title. Running back Nick Chubb expected to sign a 1-year deal with the Texans. I'm Byron Kerr on The Fan.
What up, everybody? It is 10 a.m. in the District of Columbia. Points north, south, east, and west. You're listening to BMitch and Finlay. We're switching up the world today. I'm holding it down in the Navy Yard studio. BMitch live in Ashburn. What up, B?
Chilling, bro. What's happening with you?
Not much, dude. Obviously, a busy weekend. We were both all over the place. I touched base, saw some incredible social media videos that we're going to get to here in a bit. I played a lot of golf, most of it poorly. But obviously, we start last night. Did you watch a game last night?
I watched some of it until I fell asleep.
You didn't miss much. Straight up ass kicking.
But that's what they do. After they lose a game, they come back. They average 20 points a game, beating people. So
yeah,
I just say this: if any.
Like OKC would just respond. And to me, with this Pacers team, what we've learned in, I don't know, the 6 weeks of NBA playoffs we've been watching, whatever, is that like, if it's within 10 with 2 minutes to play, we got a ball game on our hands.
Yeah.
And I think Oklahoma just did a really smart job of not letting that be the case. Like, they never let it get tight.
The thing about them, Indiana has so many people that can knock down threes, and Siakam has been unbelievable throughout the playoffs. And when you put the ball in Halliburton's hand, he can knock down shots, but he also finds open people.
Yeah.
So that kind of throws any defense off, where you have to be more. We can't play a zone. You got to play man-to-man. You got to be on the guy at all times, because anytime you take a little step towards Halliburton, he finds the open guy. And when everybody can knock down shots, that really, really is a problem for teams. But Oklahoma City is quick enough to get to those guys.
Yeah.
And then when you look at Indiana, they've been playing great defense, but they have closers in OKC, dog.
Yeah.
They have closers.
I mean, there were only 2 players in this game on either team that scored 20 or more. Both of them were on the Thunder.
Mhm.
And, I mean, Caruso was really good, but SGA is just absurd. Like, you could just pencil him in. It's almost a quiet 30 every night. You know what I mean? Like, I thought they got real good minutes from Chet early. I thought Jalen Williams was good. My guy Aaron Wiggins, Terp, was really good.
Yeah, Wiggins was playing, dog.
Yeah, man.
That dude has what? He had like 4 games of over 40 points this year coming off the bench.
Wiggins, yeah, I mean, dude, when the three's falling and the way the Thunder can get going fast, like, it's just that last night was kind of what we thought we'd see. I don't know when. I honestly don't even know when the next game is. I'm guessing if they played Sunday, they'll play Wednesday by this scheduling.
They're going to drag this thing on and get everything they can out of it, JP.
They better, because I think they're only getting 5 games. When is the next NBA game? It looks like Wednesday. Okay. So the travel from Oklahoma to Indiana is so significant that they need 3 days off. I'm sure that's what it is.
It's so damn crazy.
Yeah,
man.
dude, they just drag this thing out. But whatever. I'll watch Wednesday night. I'm not overly invested. I have really enjoyed the Pacers run. But dude, if we all talked Friday morning after Indy took down game 1 when it seemed really, really improbable, our conversation would have been way different. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, Halliburton hits another outrageous shot, and it was vibes were high for Indy, and then came crashing down a few nights later. Early line, and this might move because, again, the game's not for 3 days. Pacers are 5.5-point underdogs in that game at home. Yeah.
But see, that's what Vegas is telling you. Listen, man, we understand the Pacers have that tendency to come in and close out games, but we know that Oklahoma City is the best. Like Bees was talking yesterday, he was like, "Look, man, I don't know what's going to go down, so I'm going to take the Thunder in the first half." Because you basically know what they're doing, but if, like you said, if the Pacers are anywhere close, they can come back and close games out, make it very interesting. But if Oklahoma City just goes out and don't start to falter, you got problems.
Definitely. I think our boy Chris Miles from NBA TV will join us at noon to kind of get us his thoughts on all things happening with this NBA Finals series. I don't know if you noticed this, B, but and honestly, like, a lot of times dumb internet trends, I think, are stupid. But the NBA Finals, like the NBA Finals that I remember most in my head, right, go back to MJ and the Bulls. And then even like the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, like all these like series I remember really well. There was like, I guess like I don't want to say it's a controversy, it's a non-controversy, but do you notice they don't have the logo on the court that says NBA Finals with the picture of the Larry O'Brien trophy?
They don't?
They didn't. And it became like a real internet outrage.
Why not? Why they not having it?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like they should. To me, this one isn't that complicated. And what's my man's name? What's the commissioner of the NBA? Silver, right? So
aren't they changing up their whole thing? Isn't it now Michael Jordan on one of these trophies or something?
He might be the NBA MVP. The Finals MVP might be Michael Jordan. Actually, it might be Magic.
I think it's Mike.
Somebody in the aquarium. See if you can look that up, please. So here, Silver got asked about this. I guess he does like a presser around the finals. And so Silver got asked about, where is the finals logo and the Larry O'Brien trophy? And he said, to be honest, I hadn't thought all that much about it until I saw it on social media. I'm nostalgic as well for certain things.
Isn't that crazy?
And also, I think for a media-driven culture, whether it's people watching live or seeing those images on social, It's nice when you're looking back on highlights and they stand out because you see that trophy logo or some other indication that it's a special event. So we'll look at it.
So it's something he doesn't know. He didn't know about.
Well, I can't even tell. Maybe that the court hasn't had it for a few years, but maybe because the matchups have been a little juicier or you had like more marquee teams. Like when they're playing in Boston and they have that, what is that, parquet flooring?
Parquet floor, yeah.
Like maybe you don't, because that's iconic in its own right. You don't notice the trophy or whatever, but I don't know why it's taken off.
You know what? It's the finals. It's supposed to be your big hoorah. Like you're always going to see the Super Bowl stuff going on.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to see the numbers, whatever the Roman numbers will be. You're going to see that damn trophy. They're never going. I guarantee you, no team is going to ever be that matchup going to be juicy enough to where they're not going to put that out there.
Well, and dude, I think the Super Bowl absolutely does it. If you remember, whenever the Eagles lost to the Chiefs, remember everybody was saying like the Super Bowl logo was too big? That was the problem.
But you know what, though? What you realize based off of that statement you just made, no matter what they do, something is going to be found wrong with it.
Right.
If they put it on there
remember
now.
The Eagles were sliding all over the place?
Yeah, if they put it on there now and they put the logo up there, they're going to start saying something about, well, it's not big enough, this, that, and the other. But, it's just people love to complain, bro.
Oh, I mean.
Social media has
I've kind of made
created
a
a world of complainers.
Sure. I think the Stanley Cup does it for the finals. I just don't. The NBA should celebrate this moment, and putting that on the court seems pretty damn easy to me. I don't know. What do I know?
It is all about. But the thing of it is, like sometimes you wonder. The NFL, they promote themselves. Yes, they have a bunch of stars, but they still promote the league as a whole as the big entity and the most important thing. The NBA gets to the point where their stars are bigger than the game. Because, one guy can run a whole team. One guy can run the league. But they have to remember that the league as a whole better be healthy or you're going to have a problem.
Right. And I think
so. Always present that as we are one unit.
Well, and I think this is a big, I don't want to say test, but a big example of like the league being healthy and not just stars. Because as much as SGA is a star, Halliburton, I think, is emerging that way. Like, these aren't household names. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure my wife at this point knows who Tyrese Halliburton is.
Probably not. But I'm going to tell you, man, I know a lot of people, SGA has been on the tip of their tongues for the last 3-4 years heavily. Well, and he's in Oklahoma City. If he was in New York, he'll be a lot bigger.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But to get the love he's gotten in Oklahoma City tells you how damn good he is.
I agree with that. I mean, he dominated MVP voting, right? Mm-hmm. So clearly people that are plugged into hoops absolutely know him. Yep. And I think when they win this title, that's a young team. Like, it's hard to not think they don't stay contenders. And I think rings are really what drives attention, and
totally
like face of the league conversation tends to like Giannis was face of the league when the Bucks won, right? And then injuries and everything else up there have kind of folded them into obscurity. I do think as long as LeBron and Steph are playing, those two just kind of will take all the oxygen out of the room. Like until those two actually hang it up, you can say whatever you want. Maybe they're not winning MVPs anymore or whatever, but those two are the biggest stars in basketball until they're done.
I say so. Yeah. Because it's the name and what they built.
Yeah.
You know, what they've done already. And I think Steph, in a sense, Babyface Assassin came along as this like a minute guy when you look at the league standards of how tall guys are and stuff. And he just began to shoot the ball from wherever he wanted to. And he put some flair with it. How many jump shooters have flair? They just shoot the ball. Steph would shoot it, turn away, shimmer on down the court. He began to put a little bit more style on it, and I think he helped his the people help everything about him grow. You know what I mean?
I'm with you. Yeah, I don't mean this to sound silly because I never saw it, but like Wilt Chamberlain changed the game of basketball in such dramatic ways. They had to like change the rules and everything.
Yeah.
I think in my lifetime, nobody changed basketball the way it's played like Steph, period. I mean, the game completely revolves around the three-point line now, and the pace and space Warriors, when they first broke through and just became this like juggernaut, completely changed hoops. Bigs don't exist anymore.
It put a strain on defenses.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It made you have to play the whole court if you're trying to, cover a team like the Golden State Warriors were. But then when you look at it, all the three-pointers that are shot today, you still look back at that dude that was floating through the air. He averaged more points than all these dudes during the day, and they shooting all these threes.
Yeah, what I mean? It's crazy.
It says a lot about what he was doing. He was getting to the hole when people were saying, "You come in here, we're gonna hurt you."
Right.
And he still was going in there.
He was the hole.
Yeah, that's why I love AI so much. It wasn't the biggest guy on the court, but he will go to the hole, get knocked down, jump right back up, run down the court.
Oh my God, yeah, he was a monster.
Yeah.
So, the opposite of a monster was my play this weekend. Shout out to Woodmont Country Club.
I wanted to ask you, man, but I was kind of like, I'm going to let Jay tell me, because did it keep going or did you get that monkey off your back?
So the first day we played the dudes that ended up winning our flight, and they kind of kicked everybody's ass. Maybe they lost one match. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
They were good. This dude, Aaron, and his partner, Dave. This dude, Dave, mostly just hit iron off the tee and smoked it, dude.
Did he hit 2 iron, 3 iron?
I don't know. Iron. He hit driver on a couple spots, but they came out ready to go. We did not. And I had a couple opportunities to like make a putt. For 2 days, I could never. In whatever we played, 54 holes of golf, I bet I had like 3 or 4 greens of regulation. And there were a couple blow up holes, or a couple bad holes, certainly, but like most of the time it was decent drive, okay iron, hits on the green and then bounces off. And then those greens, those things were so severe this week. I swear to God, I was above the hole on every hole, and just, you're not going to win much with.
Is there still remnants of the senior tournament?
What's that?
I said, there's still remnants of the senior tournament over there, where those greens are still pro ready, not good for golfer at the country club ready.
I think so, because they had just had the U.S. Open qualifier.
Yeah.
Of course, it's in great shape. It's a great facility. A lot of fun people. I figured out there's this dude, I don't know his name. Everybody just calls him Beard.
He has a big beard.
He looks like Happy Gilmore's caddy, if that means anything to you. Like if they saw him at the gate, they might be like, "Sir, this is a country club. Like, you're not allowed in here." That's his vibe.
Uh-huh.
Like shirt untucked, like high socks, you know what I mean? But he just, like, no pretense whatsoever, just gets up, smashes it, stands over a putt, hits it, knocks it in. Just casual smooth, man. I wish anything about me was casual smooth. I don't think I have that in my repertoire.
I'm telling you, the people I watch playing golf, the guys that hit the ball quicker, they play better. The guys that sit over it and start thinking, there's always a shot they hit and you go, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah, we've played enough. I go fast. I maybe go too fast, but
I know I do.
I don't know. I'm such a mental midget, dude. There's not enough gummies in the world to calm my brain down for the upcoming member of which I have to play in. Shout out to Lee Armstrong. I hope I don't embarrass you, pal. But by far the best thing, B, when you get to those tournaments where it's a couple days, like I got to play with my boy Gillespie, who's one of my best friends for 30 years. Just to get to hang with your boys and have fun that's the thing. You don't get to do it as much.
That's the best thing right there. Like some of these like member guests and stuff like that, it's not about the actual tournament. It's just about spending time with your boy.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. Update. Per sources, apparently the social media anger, the trophy was back on the court last night.
Oh, it was.
Jeffrey, see if you can confirm that. We don't have White Brian here, who's generally the fastest at figuring stuff out. I'm really starting to worry about this kid's meth habit. He's just in and out.
You guys stop saying stuff like that publicly. People gonna believe you.
Okay.
Boy, he just a little different. He like to chill. He works too much is what he does. The dude's
has
working
like
3-4 jobs.
He's got more jobs than you and I combined.
Hell.
I think I don't know
about that, Jay.
If they got the logo back on the court last night, hooray for the internet. Win one for the internet.
There you go.
Obviously, you had a hell of a weekend. I know you went to LIV. I want to hear all about LIV. It rained like crazy. Bees told me that.
Yeah.
But I'm curious just the vibe. We'll do that a little later. You had quite a party yesterday, including one celebrity guest. So we'll talk about that. 11 a.m. Kevin Seifert does a great job covering the Vikings. We'll continue our kind of just roundup of all the Commanders' opponents. Pack show coming all day. And as folks are making progress with the internet, getting the trophy back, if you're looking to make progress buying or selling a house, there's only one dude you should work with. His name is John Leahy.
Yep, just like a recent seller did. He was thrilled to receive an offer which was $20,000 over the asking price for his Silver Spring property. Everything went smoothly. There was no stress, no setbacks, and the sale closed right on time. The client had previously been told by another agent that he wouldn't be able to make any profit at all, but he ended up earning exactly what. Who says there are no guarantees in life? Check out John Leahy's guaranteed offer right here on this website. You can get the ball rolling at johnsellsdmv.com. We're talking about our good friend, John Leahy, and a fine living group of eXp Realty. John offers you flexible fees customized to your needs, and he knows that life happens, so if needed, John would even let you out of your contract at any time. Nobody else is doing that.
$20K over asking in this economy? Damn, John, don't hurt him. That's legit, dude. You should just go to the website and at least get an idea what the equity is in your home. He could get that thing sold in seconds, or you get that instant cash offer. John will take it off your hands if you're looking. Call John Leahy today, 301-900-3052. Go online to johnsellsdmv.com, or what's even easier, just Google John Leahy Group and start packing.
This update brought to you by Paul Henry's Window Installation, your clear home improvement choice. NFL news for the Green Bay Packers. They plan to release two-time Pro Bowl cornerback Jair Alexander. Nationals a tough loss to the Rangers 4-2, and they lose the series. Alex Call with a homer and a single. Trevor Williams 4 1/3, 2 earned runs, 3 runs overall. The Nats have the day off. They're at the New York Mets Tuesday with Mackenzie Gore getting the call. The Thunder even the series in the NBA Finals with the Pacers 123-107, SGA 34. Mystics beat the Sun 104-67. Spirit over North Carolina 3-1. Carlos Alcaraz tops Yannick Sinner in a 5-set thriller when he was down 2 sets to love. This June only. Get $125 off each window with a 5-window minimum and $600 off each door at Paul Henry's Window Installation. Schedule your no-pressure free estimate today at paulhenryswindows.com. Your clear home improvement choice. Byron Kerr on The Fan.
Mitch and Finlay, 106.7 The Fan. And wow, I just got a straight banger. B, you ready for this?
What you get?
Now, you should know this, but this is a lot of years ago, so this may not register. I'll be honest, I haven't been like totally consistent with this, but Landfill keeps telling us how many days it is until the Commanders kickoff, Commanders-Giants, obviously. So today we're 90 days away. So I've been trying to find like, I'm only doing former players. So like a guy like Montez Sweat, he's now on the Bears. Like I wouldn't do that. Like John Allen last week, now on the Vikings, I wouldn't do that. And I'm trying not to do current players, right?
Why wouldn't you do it?
Can you guess who I just found for number 90? 90 days till Washington football.
Terry Crews.
Yeah, dude. How wild is that?
As soon as you said 90, I thought of Terry. But you know, you can still use people. They were on your team. Hell, the Eagles use me every year for number 30. The 30 days left.
No, that I'm saying you're like, I want guys who are done playing. So if they have like a different number, like honestly, so I looked it up. The guys I was between, I was looking at Kennard Lang. He popped
playing with him.
What's it? Yeah, I mean wasn't he the first round pick out of Miami? Do I remember that right?
I think it was like late in the round, but first that's the high second, 1 or 2.
Yeah, and he was pretty good. He was here 4 or 5 years, I think.
K Lane.
Good guy. I obviously never knew him.
Yeah, real good dude. Real good dude.
He was 17th overall pick in 1997.
Okay.
6'3", 270. So Kennard Lang caught my eye, and then Ziggy Hood caught my eye. Ziggy just a really, really great guy. Raised a lot of money
in the weight room.
Yo, huge. Yeah. But when I saw Terry Crews, I was like, oh man.
Yeah, you gotta go with T. Crews.
As long as I can find a picture, it was Terry Crews all day.
All you gotta do is find it. You can find any picture. You got a million pictures out there.
Well, my concern wasn't finding a picture of Terry Crews.
You mean in the uniform?
In the uniform, I'm saying. Dude dominates the internet. I could easily find a picture of Terry Crews.
Yeah.
But like, I need them in the uniform, Jeff. Like, but the white chicks photo would have been really funny. Should I make maybe a Terry Crews photo thread will get us through today? So B, you're out there today. Obviously tomorrow, Jeff. Why are you gonna send me down this rabbit hole, man? That's a bad. I'm just gonna start.
Dude, I got a picture. All you got to do is go Terry Crews and put the Mexican Redskins, and it pops up.
Yeah,
tons of pictures.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
So you're out there today. Mandatory mini camp starts tomorrow. They just released the schedule for everything. We will. I believe we'll be able to take Dan Quinn live in our show the next 2 days, which should be pretty cool. One thing that I don't know how this will work, but I do think fans need to be prepared for this. Mandatory minicamp is generally scheduled for 3 days. A lot of times coaches give the players the last day off, and it's kind of like a a reward for busting your butt for 2 days.
A year, yeah.
So don't be surprised if there is no practice Thursday. That is not a
somebody will lose their mind.
Well, I'm telling them
it, man.
not
They're
to.
not practicing, man. What's going on here, man? We're not trying to win this year.
I'm trying to tell folks not to do that.
Mhm.
But obviously, being at practice these last couple of weeks for OTAs, honestly, the thing that resonated most with me was DQ and everybody talking about why they wanted to be back. I got to interview a bunch of the assistant coaches the other night. We're going to roll out those interviews throughout the week. Today, folks will actually get to hear my conversation with David Blau, who is a young offensive mind.
I just saw him earlier.
Yeah, dude. You know what else? He has a great Texas twang to him. If I said over under 1.5 seasons until David Blau is an offensive coordinator, what side of that would you take, B?
I have to take the over. I think it's about 2 years, and then he'll be there.
It's going to be very interesting. I mean, his name was super hot last year, but to a man, these guys wanted to stick around and kind of continue what they're building.
Mm-hmm.
But
because when you build something special, it's a lot easier to be able to get a job that you could choose, and not one that you have to just accept.
Right.
Yeah.
I totally agree. So for me, that was kind of the biggest story of OTAs, of the sessions I got to attend as a media member. But, the biggest straight up news is that you didn't have McLaurin, Tunsil, or Lattimore there.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly expect Tunsil and Lattimore there tomorrow. I tend to expect Terry there too.
Mm-hmm.
I recognize that might not be the case. I'm curious what your expectations are.
Man, look, when it comes down to negotiating and money, I just basically let things take its course, because it's easy for people to say what somebody should do when they're in that situation. When you're up here and you put all the work in, and you know what you deserve, you know what the going rate is, you're going to do that. And I think ultimately sometimes things can get to a point where it look like you're being strained or pulled apart. But ultimately, it's simple as it's negotiations, and you have to be able to deal with that. I've been through it. I've seen other guys go through it, and I understand how this team works. But I can tell you one thing: the two people that's involved right now that really control this thing, McLaurin and Peters. You're not going to hear either one of them say anything outside that's going to be something that pulls people apart. Never.
Agree with that. I obviously we had that report last week that Terry was upset with his contract and considering missing mandatory minicamp. I could see him being upset with his contract. I could. But you just want your contract to be done, right? I don't think it means there's some wedge in the organization.
True.
And I think one of the dudes I played with this weekend, it was the dude Beard's partner, was a San Fran guy, Niners fan, Warriors fan, all that, right? And we were just kind of talking about everything. And I think Debo had a down year last year for San Fran, undoubtedly. He's said as much. And I when a player owns the down season, I think is really important. But I think one thing that San Fran has done, I remember asking you once when you were playing for the Skins, if you were ever going to sign as a free agent, where would you want to go? And you said San Fran. They have a sterling reputation around the league.
Yep, it definitely was in the past.
Well,
it was definitely there in the past.
Well, think about all the guys they've gotten deals done with, and big name players. Kittle just got done.
Mm-hmm.
Warner just got done. Before that, they got Ayuk done. They got Debo done before that.
They take care of their own. And I think that right there is what people see from the outside. And I believe this group here wants to do the exact same thing. Why take someone and have them come through your ranks and build up, and then all of a sudden when they are really getting there, you go, oh, no, we don't want to do that. That'll turn people off with it. Other players pay attention to all that stuff. So I believe that, Terry is a prime guy. The guy that has done everything asked of him and exceeded things people expected. So keeping him in your building says a lot.
I just, to that point, I very much believe they'll get it done. Mm-hmm. And I think if you look at the last time he signed a contract, it was right after 4th. I think it was July 6th. But the deal was probably agreed to in parameters late June.
June 30th.
Right.
That's the number I keep hearing.
Yeah, dude, that sounds right to me. And there could even be like contractual triggers on when it needs to get done. I don't know if Terry will be there tomorrow. I think he will be, but I don't know. I think Tunsil and Lattimore will be there. I'm excited to see if those dudes are there. I'd like to see Lattimore run, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it really matters for those dudes because this is mandatory and they would face some fines and such. Those guys have made so much money, they're not too worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling at least 2 out of 3 and maybe all 3. Now, I have a different feeling about videos that were sent to me last night. BMitch had a seafood roast at his house, and he had one very special guest. We'll find out who that is as we return on BMitch and Finlay.
All right, Summers here, and I'm kicking it off the right way. As an avid cyclist, I want you to join my team for Bike to the Beach on June 20th. We're riding to support autism and disability inclusion. And trust me, this ride is going to be a blast. It all ends with a beachside festival at the Beach House Hotel in Dewey Beach, which is just a block away from the ocean, right in the heart of the action. So let's ride together, make a difference, and kick off the summer in style. So if you want to join my team, go to biketothebeach.org. That's biketothebeach.org to join the team, or you just want to donate and help out a great cause. Go to biketothebeach.org, or you can go on my Instagram or my X, and you can find all the things right there. Make sure you come out there, join us, and let's support a great cause.
BMitch Finlay 1067 The Fan. Busy weekend for the boys, including Brian's trip out to LIV Golf at RTJ yesterday.
Mhm.
In about 10 minutes, we're going to talk all things Minnesota Vikings with our boy Kevin Seifert. But I wanted to get out to LIV. I couldn't make it work this weekend. I've never been to a LIV event. They look like a party. How was it?
Actually, I think it is kind of subdued compared to the waste management tournament.
Oh, I bet.
So it's like you do hear music everywhere, but to me, that's what I do every time. So it was kind of something normal. The music wasn't like blasting as loud as I thought it would be. But the crowds are a lot smaller than a lot of the PGA Tour things. But once I got into the suite, the little Club 54, I never left. To be honest with you.
Well, that I believe. Because
when the rain showed up, I was like, hell no, I'm not going out in the rain.
So I was texting with Bees, and there was, a gang of you guys that I knew that were there.
Uh-huh.
And Bees was telling me, oh, I got soaked. I'm headed home. And in my mind, I was like, all right, well, they sent me a picture in a suite. If I know B well enough, he probably just stayed in there and didn't get soaked and is chilling.
Well, Bees and Sean, they decided they were ready to go. And you have to go to an area so when you're coming into RTJ, right before you get to the driving range or to the right.
Yeah.
That's where the staging thing was for the buses.
Okay.
So you have to, and then Studio 54 was right next to the 18th green.
Yeah, so probably just past the clubhouse.
So you have to walk from there all the way back over there to the place to catch the bus to go back to the Nissan Pavilion. What's
Jiffy Lube.
Jiffy Lube, whatever. It used to be Nissan. I call it. I still call it Nissan. You got to walk over there. Well, right when they decided they were getting ready to leave, about 5 minutes into that, the sky opened up.
Yeah.
And so we saw people coming in look like they just came from scuba diving. That's how wet they were. So I decided at that point I am not leaving until I see sun pop out, and we know we got a little stretch to get there. And I walk rather fast to get to that bus stop.
So no parking hookup inside the gates, huh?
Well, I couldn't find the thing that the guy sent me online, so I was a little pissed at that. But even if you were to try to catch an Uber, the Uber was dropping people at Jiffy Lube.
Well, dude, the thing with golf is like the golf courses just don't have the infrastructure for all the people that come. So no matter what, you're gonna be doing some walking, like kind of no matter what.
Yeah, but like once we got dropped off, I saw a lot A and B. And, if I had just reached out to a few people, I probably could have finagled that.
Yeah, I bet you.
But I wasn't even thinking that because I was like, okay, I'm going to find the guy that hit me. And we're going to just go park at his house. But I never could find it.
It sounds like you enjoyed it, but not necessarily. I tried to watch the broadcast just because I love RTJ and wanted to see it on TV.
That's what I was basically looking at it on TV like I do most tournaments. But I did enjoy it. And there are people that really give a damn about it. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that you got a group of people with a lot of money that just decided to do something, and it didn't cross, every T and dot every I.
Yeah,
they can do more to get it even better. But like when you come along and you just got unlimited loads of money, you just want to say, "Oh, we can do what we want to do."
Right.
I don't think they did everything the right way.
Right.
But the people that support it, they love it.
RTJ looked great on TV, but I'm legit curious because you've played it enough. You know that RTJ, when they wanted to, it can have some real teeth. Like that's a challenging track. They played President's Cup there. They've played events there. The LIV golfers in 3 days, I mean, they had 13 people that were like 13, 14 under or better. And Neiman got done at whatever, 16?
It was wet. They moved it up a little bit because how wet it was, because it could be long, but now they can attack pins,
right?
And that's the whole thing. You give any golfer a wet green, and they're going to attack it.
Sure. I just wonder.
But I saw guys in spots that I'm serious. I've never hit the ball at. I'm talking about like bad shots. So some of them is some bad shots. Those trees to the right.
Yeah.
Of 18.
Yeah, I saw that.
I saw several guys hitting the ball from up there.
Well, dude, I think the problem for LIV is they obviously have star power at the top, but you get down to the bottom half of that, and I don't know who.
Oh no, it was a star power dudes that was hitting the balls from up there.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm looking just at scores of Sergio and Koepka.
Mhm.
All right. So after LIV, eventually you did leave, and you went home. And Greg was sending me videos after videos. I was shocked Jeff wasn't there. Jeff doesn't tend to miss
Jeff
many
told me he was on his way to
free
the
seafood
tournament.
cookouts. But you made crabs and crawfish, B?
Yeah. So we had already prepared to do that. Me and my buddy Jay had already discussed it. And then when I called you, I was trying to get your Comrex. And then you said, well, man, Rooster lived close to you.
Right. That was
So I just called Rooster and said, yo, man,
that was actually a good idea by me. I don't have many.
Yeah, you did finally put something out that was good. And I called Rooster and I said, man, we got some food over here and we're going to be cooking. And I need you Comrex. He said, I'll be on my way.
So we found the crack research team here at BMitch and Finlay has found some, I'd say, terrifying, at least damning audio of Chris. Apparently, Chris is terrified of Maryland blue crabs.
Hey, girls!
B, what the hell is going on over there?
I just like, he turned around and I put a crab next to him and he just started screaming like that.
So what all did you cook? Because I was getting video after video, just getting hungry and hungrier. It looked great.
We had crab, crawfish, corn, potatoes, sausage. Chris had his sausage, and then Monica had cooked some jambalaya. And I came outside eating a little bit of it, and guys saw it, and they started eating some of it. And she told me, she said, oh, I actually made that for dinner tomorrow. I said, well, I have to make more.
How did Rooster handle, it seemed like the crawfish were quite spicy. How did Rooster handle that?
He handled it well, but he kept talking about, man, I sure wish I could find a whirlpool. And, I was like, I am not finna tell him I got a whirlpool up in the back so he could go out there and talk about, look, me and BMitch finally made it to the whirlpool. No, we're not doing that.
Hold on. Chris Russell came to your home and asked to use your whirlpool?
No, he asked me, he's about if he could find one. And I'm like, I just kept my mouth shut. I didn't want to say one was in the backyard.
The good folks at Offenbacher sell them if you need one. You imagine.
Remember he tried to get me to come to his house and watch wrestling in the whirlpool with him?
This is
So I was like, I am not about to tell him because he was going to go take a picture by the whirlpool. And then, you probably would have taken it too far.
Oh, yeah, certainly. Leadville, can you imagine just a quick, what do you think it would sound like if you saw a picture of Rooster in BMitch's hot tub? Leadville, what do you think Rooster's reaction would be if he saw the ping pong table back in the Commander's locker room? Leadville, what do you think Rooster's reaction was when the third preseason game was scheduled just 4 days after the second preseason game? Leadville, what do you think Rooster's reaction is that the Commanders have a home game on Christmas?
Boy. And that is why I never said nothing about the pool in the tub in the backyard.
Did he try to get in your swimming pool, Brian?
No, he didn't. He was just like, he went inside. Greg took him down in the basement, and he was like, oh, it's real nice right down there, BMitch. That's nice.
I saw he was drinking beers. Did he keep it together?
Yeah, he was cool. He was cool. Everybody was cool. It was no bad stuff.
All right, that's a great afternoon. Landfill. Yes, Jeff.
I have a question for Brian. What would you do if Chris Russell showed up to your house in swim trunks and shirtless?
I probably would have told him he had to leave.
Had AD hung out with Rooster before? How was that interaction?
No, I think he met before, but I don't think they hung out. AD was just chilling,
Certainly.
Yeah.
Leadville, how do you think Chris Russell will react when inevitably the NBA Finals do better ratings than the Stanley Cup Finals? All right, we're talking Minnesota Vikings when we return. It's BMitch and Finlay.
This update is sponsored by Door Pro America Garage Door Service. Go with the pros at Door Pro America. The Nationals lost to the Texas Rangers 4-2. They're off to face the Mets tomorrow night. The Thunder defeated the Pacers 123-107 at the NBA Finals. SGA had 34. That series is even at 1. Prior to the game, NBA legendary coach Don Nelson was honored with the Chuck Daly Lifetime Achievement Award. During the news conference, he had some kind words for Luka Doncic and that ridiculous trade to the Lakers.
And Luka, too, my dear friend. As a matter of fact, I want everybody to know I'm wearing Luka's shoes, his new shoes from Nike. They just got on the market, and I'm wearing them in protest for the trade from Dallas. I think it was a tremendous mistake by the Dallas franchise to trade him.
The Mystics defeated Connecticut 104-67. DC Defenders defeat the St. Louis Battlehawks 36-18. So DC into the UFL title match against Michigan Panthers June 14th. Go with the pros at Door Pro America. From spring repair or replacement or a brand new garage door to boost your home's curb appeal. Call 877-DOOR-PRO today and ask how you can save $60 on a repair or $150 on a new garage door. Visit doorproamerica.com. Byron Kerr on the Fan.
BMitch and Finlay, 106.7 The Fan. Tough weekend for the Nats. Dropped 2 out of 3 to the Rangers. Day off today before they play the Mets in New York tomorrow night. Right now, though, it's time for us to get to the Rude Guest Hotline. Welcome in our friend Kevin Seifert from ESPN, covers the Minnesota Vikings. Kev, what's up, dude? How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Are we doing good, man?
We're great here, man. I imagine you are in the middle of or almost done with OTAs and mandatory mini camp. How are things up in Minneapolis?
They're good. They're good. They have their mandatory mini camp starting Tuesday, so they'll have a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We've seen a few OTAs now, and the big focus, of course, has been on J.J. McCarthy taking over a very otherwise stacked veteran roster that won 14 games last year. So we've been keeping an eye on that, and we've been keeping an eye on Justin Jefferson, who decided to come to the voluntary portion of the offseason program this year for the first time in a while that I can remember, and made it pretty clear that the Vikings really wanted him to be there, not only for J.J. McCarthy, but also, you know, he's the captain of the team and an energy guy, and they wanted to sort of start the process of taking things to the next level with him here.
How did JJ look?
JJ's looked pretty much what you would expect him to look like. There's been we've seen a lot of throws that remind us of the way he was throwing at the end of training camp last year before his injury, which were really strong, very anticipatory, accurate, to the right players at the right time. And we've seen others where he's clearly still learning the timing of some of the new players here and some of the other players. Don't forget, he really didn't throw to Justin Jefferson last year because he was taking the second team reps, and Justin, when he was here in training camp, was obviously working with the first team. So they're just starting off on their journey. So there's been times when they've been on different pages, and you would totally expect that. And I know at times coaches have even intentionally dialed up some things that aren't likely to work just to see how he would handle it. So overall, he's looked about what you would expect him to look like right now. And most importantly, there's no reason to think that they're not going to be moving forward with him as a starter once training camp begins.
Are they satisfied with the quarterback room they have now, or are they going to still be looking for someone else?
I think that there's a decent chance that they'll at least be keeping an eye on things. And there's been a lot of talk about Aaron Rodgers, and I think that ship largely sailed in March. but they acquired Sam Howell to be the backup after Daniel Jones left and Sam Darnold left. And I think Howell, it's going to take a while to figure out if Howell is just kind of the guy they have right now taking the second team reps, or if they're going to, he's just kind of a placeholder. There's a couple years ago, they cut all the backup quarterbacks they had on their roster and then went out and traded for Nick Mullins at the end of training camp. And so there's some precedent here for at least going out and strengthening the backup room, the backup position if necessary. But I don't think that they're going to be in the market for anybody who could presumably start if needed.
Yeah. Not a former starter that wore purple and then left. He's not coming back.
That's the one. I assume you're referring to Kirk Cousins, and
indeed.
I've certainly kept an eye on that. And if he really wants to start, I don't think that's going to happen here. If he wants to go to a place to be a backup and he doesn't want to be the backup in Atlanta, then that could, in theory, make sense. But it's still would still be a little weird, I think, for everybody. So I don't know where that goes. I respect that Kirk wants to play, and I think he's probably one of the top 32 quarterbacks in the league still. And so I would imagine that would still remain his top priority, and having the no trade clause, he can sort of direct that where he goes or doesn't go. So I think it's something certainly for someone like me to keep an eye on and listen to what people are saying. But at this point, it would still seem a little weird for him to accept that, go from one backup job to another.
I agree totally.
Talking with our friend Kevin Seifert here on the Rude Guest Hotline. Rude makes the most reliable heating and air conditioning products in the DMV. Kevin covers the Vikings and the NFL for ESPN. You can give him a follow at Seifert, ESPN, SEIFERT. I follow you on Twitter. I recommend others do. With McCarthy taking over this team that was really, really good last year, had a really, really good defense. Are there any whispers or concerns of man, we won 14 games last year and now we're just going with a rookie quarterback?
The locker, if you're talking about the locker room and the guys and the players there, I think it's a fair question. It's a very veteran roster. Last year, they were the oldest team in the league when you weigh it based on who was actually playing on a weekly basis. They have Harrison Smith, who I think is 62 years old now, playing
He's
safety.
still playing well.
Still really good. I'm not trying to knock him, but he's definitely played more years than he's going to play for sure. And they've had two really big free agent classes back to back because their drafts have not been very good. So they have a ton of veterans who are being paid well and are ready to win now, and know that their careers are relatively short. And so I wondered about this last year too, when they got they let Kirk Cousins leave in free agency and signed Darnold and drafted McCarthy, and it seemed like they were headed for a couple years of transition. And there's not a lot of veteran players that necessarily love that idea, but they went and won 14 games. So I think that they all kind of feel not that there's this Midas touch of Kevin O'Connell and the coaching staff that whoever plays quarterback is going to be good, but they also don't need him to be JJ McCarthy to be an all-pro this year for them to have a really good team and maybe make a deep playoff run, especially early in the season. I mean, they have strengthened the defense from as you guys know, they signed John Allen, and they also went out and got Javon Hargrave. Their defensive line is now much better. They totally overhauled the middle of the offensive line to give him a better, more consistent pocket and protection, and more importantly, better run game, I think. And so they have built a really good team around him. I'm not going to say that they just need him to be a game manager and get into that whole thing, but they don't need him to be what Sam Darnold was last year, which was a 4,300 yard, 35 touchdown quarterback for them to have a good team. And I think they all know that. Would there some guys in the locker room who might have preferred to have an Aaron Rodgers? Maybe. But I think that they do have faith in what the coaches here did with Sam Darnold last year and the little bit of exposure they've had to JJ so far.
But veteran players, if they see a young quarterback with it, they will go along with that because they understand that guy, his youth, can also help them out some. Do they seem to have that confidence in him?
They certainly have gravitated towards him on a personal level, and if you've had any interactions with JJ, he's a very outgoing, confident kid. Really can capture a room. Spent a lot of time once he got physically mobile last year. Spent a lot of time circulating amongst the locker room, trying not to get in the way of the players who were actually playing. But like Harrison Phillips, the defensive lineman, was talking the other day about how, when he had a chance, JJ would come up to him and say, "Hey, I was watching you on film the other day, and from the game the other day, and you were in a 4 technique, and you moved to 2, and like, how can we tell when you're in the nickel?" And like getting into real granular stuff that that impressed a lot of the players, that he was trying to use his time wisely to learn some things that he wouldn't otherwise have time to have learned if he was playing as a rookie. And so they certainly gravitated to him on a personal level. I think, like us, they haven't seen anything to alarm them about the way he's doing the actual, practicing and how he's doing in those OTAs. And I assume as we move towards minicamp, it'll be the same way. So I don't think anyone's like worried about it or concerned. And the evidence they have so far suggests to them that they've got a guy that's going to at least give them a chance to win every week. And then we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Talking with our friend Kevin Seifert here on the Rude HVAC hotline. Kev, I'm curious, on your Twitter handle, you talked about how important you think it is that Justin Jefferson showed up to all of the voluntary stuff. Why is that? And how does it look like it's going between Justin Jefferson, the best player on that team, and JJ?
Yeah, I mean, if you look back at the last 2 years at least, Justin did not count. His nickname used to be JJ, so it's going to take me a while to stop saying JJ.
Yeah, that's tough.
Justin. Now that the quarterback, he wants to be known as Jets now, and that doesn't flow off the tongue quite as easily. But anyway, if you look at the past 2 years, Justin has not been here for any of the voluntary stuff. He was going through what was really like a 2-year process to get to his contract extension, and but that wasn't the only reason. Like he's a guy that has a lot of confidence in his ability and his own process to get ready, and didn't think he needed to necessarily be there for a lot of the stuff that they do during the voluntary portion. And that's every player's right. And I don't begrudge that from anybody. He was elected, he signed his contract, he was elected captain. And I think Kevin O'Connell, who also has to respect the fact that it's voluntary, like kind of has made it clear in a lot of their discussions that like, you're really an energy guy. Like you're one of the guys that just breathes life into this building and breathes life into the locker room. And when you're here, things have a certain intensity that they don't when you're not. And so he's impressed that upon him. And I think he's also talked to Justin about JJ's development and how you didn't get a whole lot of time with him last year. Especially a receiver as unique as Justin and the way he runs his routes and even like getting down to things like he has this really like long stride length. So when you think he's about to break his route off, it's different than a lot of other receivers. And so there's a lot of things for JJ to learn about Justin, probably more than the reverse. And that's what Justin said. He said, "This is not necessarily for me, it's for the quarterbacks." But it really, I just think it's really cool snapshot and speaks to the moment of where this franchise is, that a guy who had kind of like moved on from these voluntary things, which again, every player is right. And there's plenty of players who do that, especially as they get older, decided to come back and go through I think he's been here since they started like lifting weights and all that. And so just for him to come back and it just sort of demonstrates to me like the significance of the moment right now for the franchise and what's at stake. And, if he's here at this time doing what he's doing, maybe not against his will, but certainly it wouldn't necessarily have been his choice, then that speaks to what they're trying to get accomplished.
Well, I think that's just, his coach, to be able to go and talk to him and let him understand the importance. That's a different way of trying to shame him in the media. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that right there,
yeah.
Kevin O'Connell probably has even more respect for him. He has respect for his coach.
Yeah, and Kevin O'Connell, but nobody was out in the media saying like it's too bad Justin's not here these past 2 years. he was they all basically deferred to him and said, we have no concerns about him showing up ready to play. And he always was ready to play from a physical standpoint. He and Kirk Cousins knew each other well. And even last year, he adapted to Sam Darnold pretty quickly. And so I don't think even if had he not shown up, there would have been any concerns about Justin being ready, but it's about the other guys as well.
I wanted to ask a couple about the other guys. I really like McCarthy. I liked him coming out of the draft. I think it's going to work. A guy they drafted this year, local kid, Ty Felton, 3rd rounder receiver out of Maryland. Minnesota's had some good luck with later round receivers out of Maryland. How's Felton looked so far?
He's well, you can certainly see the speed. Everybody talked about him getting he was under 4.4, it's a 4.37 or something when he ran his 40 in the pre-draft workouts, and so you can definitely see that. But what the Vikings liked about him is that it translates on the field too. Like he's fast on the football field as well, and that's just something like even an amateur like me can see, during these OTAs, and so that's very notable. And They drafted a receiver a few years ago, and it took him Jalen Naylor, and it took him 2 years to get on the field. So, there's some depth here that you have to overcome. But Jordan Addison, who is their number 2 receiver, is potentially going to be suspended at some point during the year from a DUI that he had last summer. And so there's going to be some opportunities, I think, potentially early in the season, whether it's Ty Felton or someone else, to at least get some playing time that they wouldn't otherwise have gotten. And so I think we're a long way away of knowing if Ty's going to be ready that quickly. But you can see that speed. You know that any receiver who's not Justin Jefferson on this team is going to be getting some pretty favorable coverage, and it's shown up in the numbers for those guys in the past few years. And so if he were to get on the field, that's a pretty good opportunity for him to do that.
For sure. We're rooting for him here. Last thing, Kevin, because this is kind of newsy today, and certainly somebody you've watched a ton of. The Vikings play the Packers every year, twice a year. And it looks like Jair Alexander is going to be released today. In your opinion, having watched these Packers games over the years, what is Jair Alexander, and then what does he have left?
Yeah, it's weird. He hasn't played much the past 2 years. And in fact, if you go back 3 years ago, he and Justin Jefferson had some monster, matchups against each other. And Jair got the better of Justin in one of those. I believe it was the one in Green Bay at the end of the 2022 season. Got in his head, which he's very good at, and didn't really let him get near the ball too often either. And so that opened my eyes. And then, so that was the end of the 2022 season. And then you basically, especially, I don't think he played against the Vikings, and he didn't have another matchup against the Vikings after that because of the various injuries and other things that he had going on. So it feels like he's certainly on the downside of his career in terms of being a number 1 cornerback. But that said, if you were able to get a fresh start with another team, not only the coverage skills, but and I think this is important for a cornerback going up against a lot of the big personality receivers. He can match the trash talking and the mind games as much as anybody in the league, and that's not unimportant, I think, in some of those matchups. And so, but there were more than just injuries going on in Green Bay. I think he is a guy that has needed a fresh start for a long time, and hopefully he gets that. And if he does, I could see him still being a really productive quarterback. Whether he's a number 1 guy still, I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, I wonder what, if any, interest Washington has. So we're gonna turn our eyes to that. Kev, thank you for making time.
Kev.
We'll see you in December.
Absolutely, looking forward to it.
It should be fun. I traveled to Minnesota in all months of the calendar now. I think I prefer July to December, but whatever. We'll stay indoors. It'll be fun.
We'll show up with some extra tire chains for you.
Yeah, we'll need it. All right, thanks, dude. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you.
Okay, yep. We'll see you.
Kevin Seifert from ESPN. You can give him a follow at Seifert ESPN, joining us via the Rude Guest Hotline. Here's what we're going to do. Phone lines, 800-636-1067. Packers cornerback Jair Alexander going to hit the market. All right, they're going to release him. There's no trade involved. You don't have to give anything up. A lot of people want him to go get Jalen Ramsey. What about Jair Alexander? He's only played 14 games the last 2 years, but his last full season, he was excellent. All-pro level player. 5 interceptions that year. Dude can ball. He had 2 interceptions in 7 games last year. That's a pretty crazy statistic right there.
Yep.
Taking your calls next. Going to talk Jair Alexander, and if Washington should make a run at him, nobody go anywhere.
Hey, it's BMitch and JP here. If you want comfort and convenience wherever life takes you, then you need to turn to Rude. With Wi-Fi compatibility, you have full control of your heating and cooling system right from your phone. Forgot to turn down the heat before vacation? Adjust it in seconds. Plus, you'll get alerts if something's not right. These guys are the best, and they've installed new systems in my house, and I felt the difference instantly.
The best part, Rude systems are whisper quiet. No more noisy interruptions, no more clanging around in the middle of your ducts in the middle of the night, just peace of mind. Rude's variable speed compressor ensures precise temperature and humidity control, efficient operations even in extreme conditions. It's comfort and performance perfectly balanced. B, you got to tell them about the savings. You can qualify for federal tax credits up to 2 Gs on heat pumps through 2032. Visit rude.com/federal incentives to learn more.
You're talking about Rude, R-U-U-D, the most reliable heating and air conditioning products in the DMV. And remember, if it ain't Rude,
it ain't right.
This update brought to you by JTF Gov, the #1 HP Federal Power MPS partner. Big day for the legacy of TJ Oshie. Capitals forward TJ Oshie will make a special announcement today at 5:30 from Washington Harbor in the Georgetown neighborhood. The event is free and open to the general public, taking place from 5 to 7. Thunder even the series with the Pacers 123-107 behind 34 from SGA. Washington Spirit beat North Carolina 3-1. Mystics crushed Connecticut 104-67. DC Defenders over St. Louis Battlehawks 36-18. DC versus Michigan for the championship June 14th of the UFL. Mission critical? That's JTF's specialty. We're a top-ranked HP MPS power partner for a reason. We don't just ship products, we deploy fully integrated, mission-ready solutions from DC to Europe. Powered by HP, delivered by JTF. Check us out at jtfgov.com. I'm Byron Kerr on The Fan.
BMitch and Finlay, 106.7 The Fan. We got big news in the National Football League. Not necessarily a surprise, but it appears the end is coming for Jair Alexander with the Green Bay Packers. Now, Jair Alexander's been an excellent player. 2-time All-Pro corner, 2-time Pro Bowler, first-round pick back in 2018 out of Louisville from Charlotte. He just missed a lot of time. Last 2 years, he's played 14 games. But even in that missed amount of time, last year he had 2 picks in 7 games. I mean, that's crazy, dude. 2 picks in 7 games. I mean, how many Washington players had 2 picks in the whole season? I'm pulling that up real quick. But, like, Joe Witt talked about it earlier this year. They got to create more interceptions. Last year, Mikey Samerstill led the team with 2 interceptions in 17 games. Alexander had 2 in 7. Nobody else on Washington had more than 1. Now, obviously, Quan Martin had that big one in the playoffs. That gives Quan 2 on the year. I think Samerstill had 2 in the playoffs. So it's not like they lack good corners. But here's a question. 800-636-1067. Do you want the Commanders to go after Jair Alexander? Larry in La Plata leads us off. What up, Larry? You want him to go get Jair?
Well, you know, if the price is right, certainly, guys, absolutely go after him. But I have a question for you and BMitch. The transition from a corner to a safety, you would think, well, if he can't stay on the field, let's move him to free safety. But if it was that easy of a transition, wouldn't all aging cornerbacks be doing that? I was just getting your thoughts on you know, if a cornerback can transition to safety as they get older or, you know, more injury in their career.
There's a couple things with that, right? Like, one, everybody has this default make it be a safety. I just, corners want to be corners and not safeties. Corners get paid 2 times what safeties get paid. So when you talk about a guy like Jair Alexander, who's played corner at a really high level and he's only 28, he's not looking to convert to safety. If you find a guy that's 33, maybe, or a guy that doesn't have any other options, sure, maybe he'll convert. But he ain't converting right now. I find this one a lot more interesting than Jalen Ramsey. I think it's almost like predetermined that Ramsey's going to end up back in L.A. Apparently, the Dolphins are still trying to figure out how to trade him. Ramsey just seems like a much bigger personality, I'll say. Jair, the problem is, to me, Landville, they're already dealing with Lattimore. Like, they already traded for a veteran corner with injury issues. I don't know. Now, this will be different because it's free agency. Assuming he actually gets released and he's just a straight-up free agent, it's different because you don't have to give up compensation. But because you have Lattimore, You already traded for a veteran with a really strong resume at the position. I just don't know that you acquire another one with his own injury issues. That to me is the reason I'm not jumping at this.
It would be a little weird to do that twice.
Right. I don't know. And I think corners, like receivers, get the reputation as the divas, kind of like temperamental players. Corners can be that way too. We're going to take your calls. My guy Toothpick is on the line. What up, Pick?
What's good, JP?
How are you, man?
Hey, I'm good, man. Listen, I think he's out there. He's a free agent, right? So you try to bring him in and see if he wants to compete. They say everything's a competition, right? The only thing you can find out is he either has it or he doesn't. So, it's worth it. It's worth a shot, and it doesn't cost you anything but a little cash.
I don't think it's going to be a little cash, though. I think there's going to be a market there, and if it's a little cash and it's just like, oh, he wants to play in Washington so he can be part of what's going to happen here, I kind of I feel you on that Pick. Like if it's a 1 year kind of prove it veteran deal, cool, but I don't think that's what he's looking for. I think
but when you miss time, they say the best ability is availability, and he hasn't been available. So you can't be demanding the moon when you haven't been available.
I hear you, but he and his agents are just going to point to the film and the fact that he had 2 picks in 7 games last year. You know what I mean? Like I don't. If the Alexander market waits around a while and then it's like, all right, maybe we can get him 1 year. Probably got to guarantee most of it, but it's easy. I see your line of thinking. I just don't think that's what's going to unfold. Thank you for the call, Pick.
I appreciate you.
Jeffrey, where do you land on Jair?
If I don't have to pay a lot of money, I'm definitely giving him a shot. It's just I'm not going when he's released, yeah. But as far as going to get him, if we got to give up something, nah. I'm with Toothpick on that one. Best ability is availability, and you only played 7 games in the last 2 seasons. You haven't
7 games each season.
Each season, yes. You only played that. You're not available in the back half of the season, the latter half of the season when it matters the most. I'm good off that right now. We already got like we said, we already got a cornerback that was dealing with leg injuries and Marshawn Lattimore. Now, granted, this is one of the best that's dealing with the injury, but he's not going to be there. I'm good off of it.
All right. That's a fair place to land. Byron, what do you think about going after Jair Alexander for the Commanders?
I'm just going to piggyback off of what Jeff just said. I mean, you can't have 2 projects at one time paying them that kind of money. So, I mean, if you're going to pick him up, I would think that you would move on from Marshawn Lattimore and try to trade him or something, especially if your young corners are up and coming.
You can't move off of Marshawn. You just invested so much to get him.
Exactly.
And he's under contract.
So why would you take on another project?
I don't think it's fair to call a guy that's as accomplished as Jair Alexander a project. Like, I know what you're saying, but I don't think he's a project in any sense. If he's healthy, you know what he is. But is he going to be healthy? I don't know that answer, right?
And that's what we waited on for Lattimore.
Right.
And he's still not in camp. So who's to say Lattimore is healthy? So now you're going to have 2 great quarterbacks now, good or bad, but you can't use them in real life.
I like the Madden comp. Thanks for the call, Byron. Appreciate you, man. Lanny, you want him to go after this?
I don't know. It's difficult because I feel like cornerback was definitely one of their key weaknesses last year. But I mean, if it doesn't really cost anything, what the hell, you know?
They also did just add Trey Amos in the draft. And I think that dude is going to be a stud.
Yeah, but I also think maybe people are putting a little too much on, what was he like? He was a 2nd-round pick?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm optimistic too, but to expect this guy to come in and take your secondary from, one of the worst in the league to all of a sudden good, I think that's a little much to ask for a 2nd-round pick.
Going to keep these phones going when we return. It is BMitch and Finlay. We're going to let our guy Bennett have his BMitch and Finlay debut. We got a new guy. There's an army of young dudes around here, and they sent us one. My man Bennett going to tell us if he wants them to go after Jair Alexander. Ted, if you're on hold, stay there. Everybody on hold, stay there. We're going to keep these phone lines going. Chris Miles is going to join us at noon. You know what I did this morning, though? Forgot to close my garage door. I got on the treadmill in the garage, had the weighted vest, trying something different on an incline. Very low impact, but good sweat. I liked it. And I was leaving the house, and I realized, hey, dummy, your garage door is wide open. Anybody can just walk in your home. But you know what I can do with my new garage door from Door Pro America? I use the MyQ app, and I can just close it. So if you're a dummy like me, this thing is really advantageous because you can just close your garage door when you leave it open all the time. But if you're not a dummy and you just need a new garage door, it's going to add curb appeal to your house, man. My house looks so much better. We got rid of the old, ugly, white 70s garage door, got a new sleek black joint with these really cool windows. That's what working with Door Pro America can do for you. These guys are based locally. They've been proudly serving the DMV for over 50 years, and they can do it all. Whether you need a new one like I did or you just need some maintenance, whatever it is, they can do it because they're pros. Call today and ask how you can save $60 on a repair or $150 on a new garage door. 877-DOOR-PRO. That's 877-DOOR-PRO. Tell them JP Finlay sent you, or you can check them out on the website at doorproamerica.com. BMitch Finlay, and folks want to talk Jair Alexander, the Green Bay Packers stud cornerback, two-time All-Pro player, first-round pick back in 2018. There's no doubt this dude could play. He's just had a lot of injuries. Played 14 games in the last 2 years. 7 games per season. That said, even in 7 games last year, he had 2 interceptions. So the skill is still there. Mikey Samerstill led the Commanders in the regular season with 2 interceptions. That was in 17 games. I want to let people weigh in. My guy Troy is in Fredericksburg. What's up, Troy?
JB Finlay, love the show, boys.
Thanks, man.
I'm a Commander/Packers fan. I'm gonna tell you right now, I wouldn't fool with him. Guy can play when he's healthy, but the problem is he ain't healthy.
What have the injuries been?
I know he deals with hamstrings and shoulders.
We already got a guy with a hamstring problem.
Yes, sir.
All right, appreciate the call, dude.
I love Marshawn. When he plays, he's a monster. But the problem, he's another guy. We took him when he was hurt.
Right. Thanks for the call, dude. Let's try Ted in Mitchellville. What's up, Ted?
Hey, good morning, fellas. How y'all doing?
We're good, buddy. How are you?
Fine, fine. I know the topic is Zaire. I was concerned about McLaurin's contract. Is that going to get taken care of? I'm not trying to change the subject.
No, it's okay.
Have you heard anything about that?
Brian and I both remain confident in the people involved that it'll get done. I think Adam Peters said on the record to multiple people, we want Terry to be a Commander for a long time. And
we do too.
I think considering that, it'll get done. Deadlines drive deals. We'll see if Terry's there tomorrow.
Okay.
When he signed his last contract extension, that happened right around the 4th of July. So to me, this is a non-thing until we get to training camp, honestly.
Okay.
But I appreciate the call, Ted. Thank you. That's another consideration here, right? Is they have cap space, like if you want to add Jair Alexander, but it's another kind of big name veteran you'd be bringing in to a team that has their own big name veteran waiting for his deal to get done. And maybe you want to just focus on that. All right, my guy Bennett making his BMitch and Finlay debut. Bennett's answering the phones today. Bennett, where you stand on Jair Alexander and the burgundy and gold?
Yeah, what stands out is, like you said, the 14 games in the past 2 years, played 8 games or less in 3 of the past 4 years. It's like, the question is, what are you getting? Are you getting hurt Jair? Or are you getting Pro Bowl Jair in 2022? That'd be great, but there's a lot of risk there, and I'd rather see kind of if they were to sign him, a prove-it contract. Not sure if he'd even consider taking something like that, but there's too much risk, I feel like, with only, 20 games in the last
3 of the last 4 seasons, he's played 7 or fewer games. Like, what's the outlier? You can break this up 2 different ways. In his first 3 seasons, he played at least 13 games, including his rookie year, right? If you're getting 12, 13 games of a stud corner, that has tremendous value. In his last 4 seasons, 3 of them, he's only played 7 or fewer games. So is 2022, when he played 16 games, made the All-Pro team, is that the outlier, or these injured seasons the outlier? I mean, in 7 years in the NFL, 3 of them he's played 7 or fewer games. So there's a lot to consider. Daniel's calling from the Wharf. Danny, where you at on Jair?
Hard pass. Couple reasons. One, I think Mikey Sanderson is kind of the future of the cornerback unit here at Virginia. At Washington, and I think that I'm a character guy. So when you look at players that you look at the guys who embody good character, we got the loudmouth kind of Marshawn Lattimore player out there who's really exciting to see go up against Tampa Bay and excited to go against A.J. Brown. But like after those games, you could see he was so defeated with his injury. And the only reason why I would go after Jair depth play for injury purposes in that reason. But other than that, you got Trey Amos, you got Mikey Sanderson, who I think was just completely overshadowed by Cooper DeJean, which was completely wrong on my point. I think that Mikey Centerfield had a much better season than Cooper DeJean. You see all these Philly fans who are just upset.
DeJean missed a lot of time too.
Yeah, and I mean,
I think he missed like the first month of the season.
The core unit, you want that organization to believe in it. You know, you want to make a point like, hey, look, we're moving forward with you guys, and we're putting more leadership inside of Mikey Sanderson, Trey Amos, who are going to be the future corners of this franchise, which I think is a smart gamble to just not bring in another veteran, not bring in another guy who you're going to have all this media presence around and keep it locked in and just stay focused on what you have at play. I mean, that.
All right, you cut off a little there, Daniel. Good call, though, man. Thank you. Chris is in Falls Church. What's up, Chris?
Not much, JP. My whole thing is with Jair, if we can get him on a prove-it deal, just like we've gotten all these other old vets on prove-it deals, there's really no downside to it. If you could get Jair out there and somehow we get Lattimore on the other side, you've got Alexander and Lattimore as your starting cornerbacks. I mean, a lot of people are counting their eggs with Amos, but I haven't seen him take a snap, and I know how BMitch feels about that. So
I love Amos. I think he's going to be good, but you've got a fair point, dude.
And I think it'll be great, but he hasn't played yet. So Lattimore, he's got the track record. He's been injured, but if we could get those two guys healthy and have them both essentially playing on a prove-it deal, you got two hungry corners out there for you that could spell something good for us.
Good call. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Seems like most people are, let's wait and see what happens here. Raf is in D.C. This will be our last call. Raf, you want him to go after Jair?
Hey, man, I was calling because you took that Terry call kind of lightly. And all we see on the news right now is the three big teams are going after him. And the Redskins sounds like they're listening, or it looks like, at least when you're reading it, the reports, that they're listening to these possible trades. So I don't know.
Can I ask? Can I ask, where on the news have you seen that, or have you seen it on like Instagram?
No. Like if you look up like Athlon or like ESPN has something that they just released 30 minutes ago. It says Stur's contract as Panthers Eye Terry. So there's like 3-4 teams that are talking, and that scares me, man. I do not want this guy going anywhere.
I don't want to discount things, right? But I just think in the era of content above all, you got to wonder how real things are compared to, like, are these hypothetical trade offers that the content game is putting out? Because I saw one over the weekend that was Terry for a third. I can't even remember who it was, and I was like, that's just not going to happen, man. I'm trying to, I think my advice, Raph, and I get that Terry McLaurin is the one seed for so many fans. I would just try to stay calm and patient on this, because I think they're going to get a deal done. I think most of the reporting tends to be speculative rather than like facts. And I'm going to kind of, Adam Peters doesn't say a whole lot. He said he wants Terry to be here for the long haul. I'm going to believe him on this one.
All right, good.
All right, bud.
I'll follow you then.
All right, we'll see, man. We'll see. Thanks for the call. B, I just quickly on the Terry stuff. The content game is growing. We got a break. We'll circle back to Terry. Chris Miles will join us next, NBA TV.
This update brought to you by Coach Wooten's basketball camp. CoachWooten.com. That's 2 O's and 2 T's. Washington Capitals forward T.J. Oshie will make a special announcement today at 5:30 p.m. from Washington Harbor. It's open to the public. Special activities from 5 to 7 p.m. The Stanley Cup Finals Game 3 is tonight with Edmonton at Florida, 8 p.m. Face-off, series even 1-1. Packers plan to release two-time Pro Bowl cornerback Jair Alexander. Nick Chubb looks like he's headed to the Houston Texans. Nationals struggle again on offense, falling 4-2 to the Texas Rangers. They've scored only 11 runs in the past 7 games. They do have a day off today off to face interdivisional rival New York Mets tomorrow night at Citi Field. Davey Martinez on the team's offensive struggles.
We're just underneath everything. I mean, we're swinging up. We got to start thinking about hitting gap to gap, standing on the ball. We're really good when we do that. We got to take our walks or we're going to have the same result.
NBA Finals last night, Oklahoma City Thunder beat Indiana Pacers 123-107. Washington Spirit beat North Carolina 3-1. The Mystics down Connecticut 104-67. DC Defenders over St. Louis Battlehawks 36-18. DC Defenders against Michigan Panthers June 14th for the UFL title. Coach Wooten's basketball camp, they instill a love of the game by teaching kids how to play, the values of the game, and having fun. Join the rite of passage for beginners all the way up to rising high school stars and experience the legacy of the Wooten basketball camps. Coach Wooten. I'm Byron Kerr on The Fan.
BMitch and Finlay, 1067 The Fan. Going to be joined by our boy Chris Miles, NBA TV, here in just a few minutes. Or maybe that's him calling now. B, I did want to ask you, as we kind of had a conversation there, Jair Alexander is expected to get released from the Packers. I'm curious where you land if Washington should have some interest on that.
It was at the right price. Yes. If the injuries kind of scare me. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a few things, right? I think, one, you do have to get the Terry deal done. That should kind of be at the top of the list. 2, you already acquired a stud veteran cornerback with injury issues.
Yeah.
Like you've already got one of these dudes. Now, granted, they're different types of players, but like you already acquired a veteran stud at that position with injury questions. I don't know that you need to add another one.
Yeah, because I think, is the tendency is always to look back at his best year. But his best year has been, was 3 years ago?
Yeah, 22.
He's had 2 years since then where he's missed, what is it, 34 games now?
He's played 14 games in the last
20 games,
2 seasons.
19, 20 games he missed. That's concerning, especially at that position.
Right. And I'd go one step further. Last year you drafted Sam Still. He was awesome as a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
This year you drafted Trey Amos, who I truly believe they are all in on the potential of that kid.
Yeah.
I don't know that I need to add another veteran at the position.
If you can get a veteran that doesn't have an injury history, yes. But then again, if you can see him getting close, as we talked with Whitcomb earlier, he said he needed a change of venue, basically. Can this be a place where he can get started? If you can get him in here for a veteran minimum salary, cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not sure I see that.
But again, I don't know a lot of people that's going to really give him a lot of money with those injuries now.
Right. I think my guess is he'll get a deal that will look big in a press release without a ton of guarantees on it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll find out together, but
yeah,
I think they aren't as concerned. I think because they got Amos, I think they're actually pretty damn excited about their corner room. Samerstill, Lattimore, Noah I, add Amos to that group.
I sat and talked to him yesterday for a long time.
Who's
impressive
who?
kid? Amos.
Okay.
Yeah, he was at the LIV event.
Dude, they add a veteran in Jonathan Jones that's been in the NFL a long time.
Mhm.
Like I don't think they have the concerns that maybe fans do. Clearly some fans are concerned about the Terry McLaurin situation.
Mm-hmm.
My only advice on that is don't mistake hypothetical conversations for
facts,
reports. Yeah, man.
Listen, man, everybody can put out a report these days. Everybody that has a name that says this commander, whatever, podcast, whatever, they can put out whatever they want. And there are a lot of reporters who want to be the first, so they're going to go out there and they're going to speculate based on the things they hear or they can assume. If you're not quoting Terry or Adam, don't take it for much.
Yeah, I mean, I would cast my circle a little wider. Like, if we start to hear Garofalo or Glazer or Schefter or Diana, like, if somebody, like, right now, the stuff you see is from kind of like unnamed Instagram accounts. You know what I mean? And it's good engagement and interaction. Adam Peters said on record more than once, we want Terry to be a Commander a long time.
Yeah.
And I buy it. I believe him.
Yeah. I said that's what I said last week. I basically said the people you're stating, and I don't go as far as that. I go with those two people, those two guys that I always see. I haven't seen them say stuff that comes out to be not true,
right?
A question,
right?
So Garofalo and also Schefter, yes, I'm taking that. Some other people, I may lean to it, but I don't completely take it.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean that's where we're at this point because it's a point now where people. They're not necessarily trying to give you facts. They're trying to give you news. They just trying to say, I was first to say something.
Sure.
And that bothers me.
B, there is a big event tonight that we haven't had a moment to mention yet that I want to take some time for.
Mhm.
TJ Oshie is presumably announcing his retirement tonight. As of now, they're kind of just...
That's what we assume.
They're saying it's a special announcement. Oshie has just been so awesome, and
his whole fam, his wife,
dude,
all of them.
Yeah, dude, they're great people, and you can watch it on TV. Or I love that they're doing this just open to the public. Like you can just roll in and watch it. And the fact that they're doing it at Georgetown Harbor, where those guys like famously partied after getting the cup, I just think it's so fitting, and it even looks like the weather's gonna work with them. I know there were real concerns about like weather for this thing, and we've had some crazy weather over the last couple of days, but I'm going to be there. I'm covering it for NBC, and we're going to go live from the location. Like, I think we can all just like have a blast and celebrate TJ Oshie, who has just been the man.
Yeah.
Not only in his time in Washington, like on the U.S. Olympic team, like all of it. He's a dude that has been so easy to root for, and
he's a class dude, man.
Totally.
Yeah.
You just want nothing but the best for him. A little part of me wonders, there's not a lot going on the calendar right now. Like the Nats are out of town.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like this thing could be packed, don't you?
It could be. Listen, man, there are a lot of people who support the Red. And they will be out there. And there may be some other people that look, hey, let's just go see what's going on. You know, whenever there's an event, you always get people that don't know what the hell's happening. They stop in, though.
Right.
You know, and since they're making it to something that's going to be a big event, it may be all kind of different little things happening around it. People like to be around things going on.
Jeff, will you roll to the TJ Oshie jersey retirement ceremony?
Nah, I got to work after this.
Okay. I know Grant and Danny are doing their show live from there. So if you are going, say what's up to those boys. I'll be out there. I think it's going to be a good, fun event. Is our friend AD going to go to this?
I don't know.
I mean, that dude's a hardcore hockey man.
He's a hockey dude.
It should be very cool. I'm excited for it. I was supposed to be. Remember, I told you I had a golf match like 2 weeks ago, and we got the horn blew on us on the 16th hole.
Yeah.
So Skip and Will, I'm sorry I can't make it. I now got to go cover this Oshie thing. That's the job. So my boy Kelly is going to go play 2-on-1 to try to finish
Man,
his
you should
match.
have just went out there and closed them out real quick and get on to your event.
We're down 1 on 16.
Oh man, it's just 2 holes.
I think 3. I think Mike's got him. You don't think Mike can handle it?
Mike got it. He gets to play 2 balls or just 1?
I imagine just 1, but it'd be kind of awesome if you got to play his own best ball with 2 balls. Yeah, Skip and Will. Mike gets to play 2 balls because I can't be there.
Yeah, 1 for JP and 1 for him.
Yeah, but if he's playing 1 for me, it's going to be on persimmon-tree half the time. All right, we got a little more breaking news out of the NFL. Jermaine Pratt has been a really good linebacker for the Bengals for a few years. Bengals are releasing veteran linebacker Jermaine Pratt. I'm seeing it from Pelissero. I'm sure it's out there elsewhere. I'm going to look up his contract real quick. But if you're Cincy and you're releasing a guy that's been quite good and just an absolute,
that's money thing.
Homegrown. He's a 3rd-round pick back in 19, I believe. I mean, this dude in the last 2 years has gone over 100 tackles, hasn't missed a game in the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm. But they may be trying to get a deal with somebody else.
Right. Is that just about clearing up some money?
That could be clearing up money so they can get the pass rusher signed.
Jermaine Pratt had an $8 million cap number. By releasing him, they take a $2.3 million dead money hit, but they get almost $6 million in cap savings.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a cheap organization. Maybe they're just doing it to save the money and they just don't think they need to pay a linebacker that much.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, could be.
You never know with that group.
Yeah, you really don't.
You never know.
But I don't know. The Hendrickson thing remains floating out there.
But this is the time of the year when you start seeing those veteran guys that nothing is wrong. The team start letting them go. And it normally comes down to money. Or trying to free up some money for another guy.
Right.
So, or put themselves in a position. That may be something that comes along and helps out other teams. I don't think this team needs to look for everybody that comes free though. We got to be we got to get out of that business. We've done that.
Yeah. Paul Denner covers the Bengals for The Athletic, and he wrote of Pratt getting released today. Said a move that was inevitable 6 months ago finally happens. What a ridiculous charade that it took this long. Pratt is responsible for one of the most memorable moments in team history and was a centerpiece of great championship defenses. He deserved better on the way out. To me, when Washington kind of made it clear they were going to release John Allen, they did it the right way.
Yeah.
There is a right way to conduct the business of football. Hell, I don't have a whole lot of business experience, but I imagine there's a right way to conduct all forms of business, whether you're
I'm with that.
real estate agent or you own an RV park, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals clearly have a long-standing reputation of not doing these things the right way.
They have screwed up a lot.
And
hands down.
Right.
Yeah.
Aha! I don't know if this counts as breaking news, B, but I'm guessing you were just in there. The Commanders, they do, all NFL teams do this. They do what's called their gladiator shoots, where they get all those cool pictures of players flexing or spiking a football or dancing. They go in and they have a photo studio set up, and the players all come through and do that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe this is just coincidence because he's a big-name player that they acquired this offseason. But the Commanders just posted a picture of Laramie Tunsil getting his gladiator shots done.
Mm-hmm.
So, sure looks like Laramie Tunsil's going to be there tomorrow.
Well, he's here today.
Right. He's there today. Tomorrow's the mandatory practice.
Yeah.
Who all have you ran into over there?
Everybody.
Does anybody's name rhyme with Barry to Clorin?
Nah, hadn't.
Not yet.
Nah, I hadn't seen that guy.
Doesn't mean
I was rushing there and rushing back. So a lot of big dudes. They say like that. It said like that.
Did you have to? What? I saw you on the stream earlier. I know you had your ring on. Are you just going polo shirt, or what was your photo shoot like?
Just a polo shirt and a couple of little clips things we did.
That's fun.
Yep.
Once upon a time, back in the NBC Sports Washington days, this was an elite day for content gathering because all the guys are walking through there. You get a couple minutes with them, but television rights change.
It changes.
Things change on this planet,
big time.
Jeff, I want you. So coming up next, we have a really cool guest. I'm very excited about this. This time of year is when we do other sports, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff set us up. I want to get my man's last name right. Tremaglio?
I'll ask him.
Okay.
I only know him as Reese.
Okay. So coming up next,
Reese T.
We're talking to Reese T. Pax River Reese. He runs the Lure YouTube channel, right? Lure. This dude is a very big deal in the fishing world. And at least for me, got on my radar when he posted these videos. Terry McLaurin, for those that don't know, loves fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude, Reese, had Terry out on his boat with him. Did he have Terry and Tress out on the boat, Jeff?
I don't know if they were together, but I know he had taken both of them out.
Yo, B, did you see that Tress and Ott won the Pro-Am at RTJ last week?
Well, I told you Ott is very good, though.
Dude, I texted.
Tress can play. Ott is legit. Dude can play.
I texted Tress when I saw the picture. I said, dude, you won the Pro-Am. And he said, Ott hits it 320, and then I was throwing darts.
I told you. Look, bro, when I played with Ott, got to hole 2, he carried the trap on the right side and was right in the front of the green.
I mean, that's serious business.
I'm telling you, man.
That dude can bomb it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this, I guess it's not a first, because didn't we have those dudes that catch like the outrageously large catfish with jelly on their
Hayes
lures?
Life. Yeah, we had them on.
What was remind me their names?
Hayes Life Fishing.
Okay. And what is Reese's site?
So I only know him as Pax River Reese on Instagram. He's one of the youngest professional fishers on the MLF.
MLF is Major League Fishing?
Yep.
Okay.
So dude does it all. He's really a bass fisherman.
Okay.
And that's what I'm learning this summer. I'm learning how to
Does
bass
he ever
fish.
keep any of the bass fish that he catches? You don't just throw them all back, do he? Because, I like to eat them.
I don't know. I never ate no bass out of a lake or a river.
Why not?
Where have you eaten bass from? Or have you eaten something that rhymes with bass?
The only bass I've ever eaten is sea bass. Other than that, I haven't eaten.
Yo, B, why don't you ask Reese if he keeps the fish? He's on next segment.
Landfill, you like to always try to just crack them in there, huh?
Landfill,
I'm gonna tell you what you need to do sometime.
Landfill, do you remember that time Jeff brought us in fresh fish and it was just covered in bones?
I do, yeah.
It was like a pirate ship. It had so many
fish
bones
is
in there.
supposed to have bones in it.
Not that many.
Not that like you're serving to your friends and coworkers. It was more
It's
bones
like
than fish.
he's like somebody gave him the bony part. He just said, "Oh, I'm gonna fry it and bring it in to him."
You fried it well, though. Shout
Yeah,
out to
it was
Jeff
good.
for
It was
bringing
good.
in bony-ass fish. Nobody go anywhere. We're talking fishing when we return. Tell me it's June 9th without telling me it's June 9th.
This update brought to you by I-66 Express Lanes. Big day for TJ Oshie. The Capitals forward will make a special announcement today at 5:30 p.m. from Washington Harbor in the Georgetown neighborhood. It's open to the public from 5 to 7 p.m. Green Bay Packers plan to release two-time Pro Bowl cornerback Jair Alexander. Nationals a day off. They're at the Mets tomorrow night after a 4-2 loss to the Rangers. Thunder beat the Pacers 123-107 in the NBA Finals. SGA had 34. Washington Spirit defeated North Carolina 3-1. Mystics over Connecticut 104-67. DC Defenders crushed St. Louis Battlehawks 36-18. It'll be DC against Michigan for the championship June 14th, also in St. Louis. What's the road to reliable commutes in Virginia? That's easy. The 66 Express outside the Beltway is the answer you've been looking for. Get the inside track to express travel on I-66 outside the Beltway at ride66express.com. Guess less, no more. I'm Byron Kerr on The Fan.
BMitch and Finlay, 1067 The Fan. Excited to try something different. Getting on the Rude Guest Hotline to talk to our friend Pax River Reese. Reese, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
We're great, man, brother. Thank you for making some time for us, dude. Can you?
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
For sure, dude. Can you tell us about kind of what you do? Obviously, you're a pro